Welcome to the deep dive. You know that really agonizing place, the one where all your effort just seems to hit a brick wall?
Hmm.
You've put in the hours, you've sharpened your skills, you show up every day, often doing the unglamorous stuff really well.
Right.
You know you're ready for that next step, the promotion, the breakthrough, maybe just a new opportunity. And nothing. Silence.
Hmm.
The doors just stay shut.
It's such a common, profound tension, isn't it?
Mhm.
Especially for ambitious people. You feel like, I've done everything right, but the wind just seems to have blown right past you.
Yeah, overlooked, stuck, stalled. It creates this quiet ache inside.
And that ache, if you're not careful, it can really curdle into cynicism.
Exactly. And it forces you to ask, was all that preparation? Was it useless? Did I misunderstand something? The source material we looked at offers a really challenging way to think about this.
It really does. It pushes us right into this central paradox. The question isn't just, do I deserve this?
Mm-hmm.
But maybe something deeper. What if this silence, this feeling that, favor has moved on, what if it isn't punishment? What if it's not rejection at all?
So what is it then?
What if it's actually the most critical part of your preparation?
Huh. Okay, so that's our mission for this deep dive then. We want to unpack this idea, these principles that suggest delays and setbacks aren't wasted time.
Right. They're part of a curriculum, almost like a divine classroom.
A classroom for building capacity, refining character.
Exactly. So hopefully this conversation offers you a kind of shortcut to seeing your current waiting period
Mm-hmm.
not as passive, but as really active training.
Okay, let's start by really naming that frustration.
Yeah.
Because it's more than just annoying, it's deeply psychological, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It hits high achievers hard. And you mentioned the source material breaks down this absence of favor into a few related things people tend to lump together.
Yeah, three things.
That's right. It helps to separate them out. First, there's silence. That's when the usual sense of maybe inner clarity or guidance or even just consolation, it feels missing.
Like you're disconnected from the plot.
Yeah, you feel like you're just going through the motions, the spark's gone.
Yeah.
Second, there's delay. This one's purely about time.
The clock ticking.
Right. The expected outcome, the funding, the promotion, whatever, it just doesn't show up when you thought it would. When it should have, maybe.
And that turns hope into anxiety pretty quickly.
It does. And the third piece, which is often most painful, is displacement.
Ooh.
That's when someone else gets the nod. They get the visible reward, the affirmation that you felt, your readiness or your hard work had actually earned.
That's where the bitterness can really creep in, right? Seeing someone maybe less prepared get ahead.
Absolutely. And our gut reaction is to see all three, silence, delay, displacement, as failure, as rejection.
But this framework flips that script.
Completely. It says, look, we're conditioned to measure favor by speed and visibility. How fast did it happen? How public was it? But that's actually a really short-sighted view. The sources argue that waiting isn't wasted. It's a setup for sustainable influence. That changes the whole equation. Favor delayed isn't favor denied. It's favor being refined. Actively.
Help me understand the why behind that, though. If I'm performing well, hitting my targets, why would delay be necessary? Isn't quick reward the best motivator?
That's the absolute core distinction the material makes. It contrasts two fundamental views of success or favor. Let's call them transactional and transformative.
Okay, transactional versus transformative.
Most of us, maybe unconsciously, operate with a transactional view. Favor is like a cosmic wind pushing my plans forward right now. It's a formula. If I do X, God or the universe owes me Y. Immediately.
Like putting a coin in a vending machine, you expect something out right away.
Exactly. Which works for machines, but maybe not for developing leaders, as you said.
Right.
The issue with purely transactional success is what if the opportunity, the structure, opens up before you have the character to handle it?
You could burn out or make big mistakes.
Precisely. The foundation isn't strong enough for the weight. So the better view, the sources argue, is the transformative view. Here, favor isn't just about getting things. It's about the divine shaping of your character, your person, your calling.
So that when the door does open,
You're ready. Not just capable, but resilient. You can actually steward what you're given, sustain it.
so if I get that promotion tomorrow, but I haven't built the humility or, say, the stress tolerance needed, the favor itself could actually be bad for me.
It becomes a liability, yes. Transformative favor often looks like delay. It looks like constraint. Sometimes it looks like being sent out into a professional wilderness for a while.
Okay, that connects to this pattern you see in the sources, this sort of ancient blueprint. It's surprisingly consistent, isn't it? Figures like Moses, David, even Paul.
Yes, in almost every case, you see massive, lasting influence. But it follows a long, often brutal season of obscurity, hiddenness.
And the prime example the framework uses is Joseph.
Joseph is the perfect case study for this. His story lays out the sequence beautifully. He gets the dreams, that's the promise, the vision of destiny.
Big dreams, too.
Huge dreams. And what happens immediately after? Betrayal, the pit.
Right.
And the pit isn't just random suffering. The idea is it was designed to break those initial wings of entitlement he had, that youthful arrogance.
Which is a direct parallel for talent today sometimes, isn't it? You see the raw skill, but maybe not the maturity to lead yet. The pit is like stage one humbling.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But the pit is just the beginning.
Yeah.
Then comes the long haul. Slavery, then prison. 13 years.
13 years. That wasn't just wasted time then.
No, it was intense constraint, constant testing, and actually reputation building under really difficult circumstances. That was his wilderness curriculum.
So what was actually being built in him? During those hidden years, managing Potiphar's house, running the prison, it wasn't just learning patience, was it?
Oh, far more than patience. The prison curriculum built at least 3 crucial things for his future. First, humbling the will. Getting rid of that idea that his talent or birthright alone was enough.
Okay.
Second, forging resilience. I mean, think about it. Being sold by brothers, falsely accused, forgotten in jail, it conditions your soul to keep going despite massive injustice. That's deep psychological prep for leadership pressure.
And the third thing sounds very practical, almost like modern skills training.
It was. That's training competence.
Yeah.
Joseph wasn't just sitting there. He learned administration, organization, resource management, logistics by actually running things.
Potiphar's whole estate and then the prison system.
And exactly. He was managing people, resources, security, supply lines. It's like his hidden executive training program. His unaccredited MBA, getting him ready to manage Egypt's food supply during a famine.
Okay, but here's a sticking point for me and probably for listeners. The cupbearer. Joseph interprets the dream, asks the guy, hey, remember me, and gets forgotten for 2 more years.
Right, agonizing.
Doesn't that feel passive? Shouldn't he have been, I don't know, networking harder? Does this pattern suggest we just sit back and wait?
That's a great challenge to the model. And the material addresses it by talking about 2 kinds of time, Chronos and Kairos.
Okay, Chronos and Kairos.
Chronos is just regular clock time, sequential time. Kairos is different. It's opportune time, the appointed moment, divine timing. The cupbearer forgetting him wasn't just bad luck. It taught Joseph a vital lesson.
Which was?
That his ultimate hope, his foundational trust, couldn't rest on human networks alone, on Chronos, on people remembering him or doing him favors. Those networks are fragile, often self-serving.
So networking isn't enough to force the Kairos moment.
Exactly. It redirected his dependence away from human effort towards trusting God's perfect, unforced timing.
Okay, so let's tie this together. What's the core logic here? Why the delay, fundamentally?
The ultimate argument in this framework is pretty stark. God prioritizes formation over function, character over immediate gifting.
Formation over function.
Gifts are often obvious early on. Character, resilience, humility, those take time and pressure to build. Brilliance without humility, or function without that deep resilience. The sources argue that can actually be harmful to the person, to others, to the mission.
So the preparation prevents misuse, and the delay builds the humility needed to carry the success.
That's the idea. It builds the internal structure needed to sustain the weight of influence when it finally arrives.
Okay, let's bring this into today. If we accept this pattern, this idea of a wilderness curriculum, how does it apply to our careers now? What is that silence, that delay actually doing to us, psychologically, spiritually?
Yeah, this is where we get into what the material calls the crucible dynamics. Think about a crucible in metalworking intense heat, applied not to destroy, but to purify.
To burn off the impurities.
Exactly. Silence and delay can act like that heat. They do necessary, often really uncomfortable psychological and spiritual work.
Like what? What specifically gets burned off in this crucible?
Well, first, it definitely burns off entitlement. We talked about that transactional view. The crucible just scorches that idea that says, I did X, so I deserve Y right now.
Yeah.
That mental contract gets broken.
Okay, that makes sense. What else?
Second, it reveals hidden motives. This one's tough. When the rewards, the applause, the recognition are delayed, you're forced to ask yourself, why am I really doing this?
Am I serving the mission, or was I just serving my own image, my ego?
Precisely. Was it about the work itself or the perks? It forces a kind of radical self-inventory. If all the external validation disappears, what's left driving you?
Wow, that's deep work.
And uncomfortable, very. And maybe most importantly, the crucible refines faith into resilient trust. This is a higher level of maturity. It's the kind of trust that holds on even when all the external signs, all the evidence seems to contradict your calling or your hope.
So if you can keep going when nothing's affirming you...
You develop the psychological backbone, the fortitude that real leadership demands.
Okay, but we need a reality check here, because not all difficulty is productive, right? Some environments are just toxic or damaging. How can you tell if your current struggle is a preparatory crucible, meant for growth, or if it's actually just harming you and you need to get out?
That's a crucial distinction. You have to look at the fruit. What is this season producing in you? And you need radical honesty here.
What are the signs of a preparatory wilderness?
Preparatory signs usually involve sustained interior growth. You might notice, perhaps others notice, you're becoming more humble, maybe more self-aware, your patience is growing, your core sense of calling or vision is still there, maybe even clearer, but less about you.
Less self-aggrandizing.
Right. And crucially, there's often a strange kind of inner peace that holds steady even when everything around you is ambiguous. You feel like you're growing, even if you're not moving externally yet.
Okay. And the red flags, the signs, this isn't preparation, it's just breakdown.
The damaging signs are when the season is mainly producing negative results internally. Escalating cynicism, a bitterness that's taking root, increasing isolation from people who support you.
Or maybe starting to cut corners.
Yes. Finding yourself rationalizing unethical shortcuts just to force an outcome, to break free from the constraint. Those are huge red flags. If that's what's happening, the framework would say you likely need intervention counseling, coaching, community support, not just more waiting.
That's really helpful. So let's say you do the diagnosis and you think, okay, this feels like a preparatory wilderness. What then? How do you shift from just passively waiting, maybe agonizing, to actively preparing? What's the practical playbook?
Right. How do you steward the silence? This is where it gets actionable. It's about leveraging the constraint, not just enduring it. First, commit to micro-excellence.
Micro-excellence, what's that?
It means doing these small, often unseen, maybe unglamorous tasks right where you are, with consistent, relentless excellence, even when no one's watching or rewarding you for it.
Can you give an example, like a modern workplace example?
Sure. Maybe you're an analyst who got passed over for manager. Micro-excellence is making sure every single spreadsheet you create is flawless, clear, and delivered early. Or maybe you're volunteering in a small role. It means managing that tiny budget with the same care you'd give a multi-million-dollar account.
So it's about building the habit of quality when the stakes seem low.
Exactly. So it's second nature when the stakes are high. It's practice, not just performance.
Okay, that's one. What's next?
Run a skill sprint. Use the quiet time, the delay, to intentionally deepen your skills, your craft, or maybe your emotional intelligence. Set a specific, say, 90-day goal.
A 90-day goal. I like that. Concrete.
Yeah, it breaks it down. Don't just focus on the promotion you didn't get. Focus on building your internal capacity. Maybe it's finally doing that financial stewardship course, learning a new software, or actively working on how you handle conflict with difficult colleagues.
So the delay, the Chronos time, gives you the space to build what the Kairos moment will eventually require.
You got it. Third, manage the internal story with something like a Providence log.
Providence log.
Keep a simple weekly journal. Just jot down maybe 3 small ways that week where circumstances taught you something useful, or where some unexpected bit of grace or help showed up. Our brains naturally focus on the negative, the rejections.
The negativity bias.
Right. This log is an active discipline to counteract that. It trains your eye to see the subtle instructions, the small provisions, shifting your focus from what you lack to what you're learning.
Training your eye for the small wins, the small lessons.
Okay.
And the last piece.
Community. Don't go through it alone. Isolation is the enemy in the wilderness. Share what you're going through honestly with trusted friends, a mentor, maybe a spiritual director. The wilderness is meant to form you, but it can deform you if you're isolated. Bitterness loves isolation.
That's so true. And all this connects back to that shift in language, doesn't it? Moving from entitlement to expectancy.
Yes, an active, engaged expectancy. So instead of constantly asking, why isn't this door opening for me? I did X, Y, and Z.
Which is a question rooted in that transactional view.
Exactly. The better question the framework suggests is, what are you forming in me while I wait?
So that I'm actually ready when the door does open.
Precisely. So I don't fail the test when the opportunity finally comes.
Yeah.
So really the core takeaway for you listening is this. That felt absence of favor, the silence, the delay. It doesn't have to be divine neglect. It can be, and often is, a season of intense, active, internal formation.
Mm.
And when that public moment, that breakthrough finally happens, it's often just the revelation of character and competence that was already built faithfully in the hidden place.
Yeah.
You succeed in the spotlight because you learned how to steward the shadows.
That's a powerful reframe. Promotion without preparation. That's
Yeah.
always a precarious place to be. So for you, the listener, here's a final thought to reflect on, building on all this. The sources strongly argue that leadership capacity must precede the commission, the role. So if that big breakthrough you've been waiting for arrived tomorrow, the title, the platform, the huge opportunity, what specific character trait, or maybe what skill that only this period of constraint and obscurity could truly build, what would you discover is maybe still too weak to really sustain the weight of that new influence? Something to think about.